everybody. Oh, man. Well, couple of things and then a thing. Start off with, as I knew would happen last night when I brought it up, we were talking about whether a Messerschmitt 109 is a BF or an ME plus some of the other Messerschmitts, and when it was Bayerische Flugzeugwerks and when it was Messerschmitt, and some people get all technical about it, and then several videos have been dedicated to it, flame wars in the, not my comment section, but in comment sections. But Model Man made a submission that decides the issue for me. Now this is just for me personally. But a friend of his had actually met Willie Messerschmitt, and apparently he brought that very question up and said, and Willie Messerschmitt said that it didn't matter. He said the best corollary he could give was that it was, for Americans, it's a difference between calling a Chevrolet and a Chevy. It's completely synonymous. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what some clerk typist or some patent clerk or some registration officer. It's not an issue with, and I'm like, well, it came from the man himself. So if Willie said it, that decides it for me. That's the standard I'm going with. Of course, you go with your own. We don't judge here, but I just thought that was pretty cool. And so, also, I had told you guys that I was going to start a thing called Aurora Stories based on Andy Anches sent me a bunch of copies of his column, The Runner, which, of course, is named after, the runners that a lot of us call sprues on the models. But anyway, so I thought instead of just dedicating an entire series to that I would just sort of make it like the occasional morning story and just try to keep them in order. And here's the first part, trade shows. Now, the kit model companies would make, catalogs for the trade shows. And Andy was talking about here that Aurora apparently made some catalogs that were much nicer than the catalogs that you or I would get as a customer. He said the annual Aurora catalogs made their first appearance at the Hobby Industry of America trade shows. Many times the catalogs were printed on better quality paper, heavier textured glossy than those sold to the general public. Did you ever order model catalogs back when you could just order them? Sometimes you'd had to pay a dime or a quarter, but you just ordered them. Because to me, having one of those catalogs show up in the mail, it was like better than getting a comic book. I mean, it was just great. I look forward to the catalogs almost as much as the models. The model you build and you dream about whatever, but the catalog, you could dream about what you were going to buy so that you could build and dream about. Oh, the beauty of a kid's imagination. But anyway, he goes on to say that let's see, where was I? The glossary in the general public, the trade show editions of comic book instruction sheets for the first 8 comic scenes. Yeah, so they had comic book style instructions for the first 8 comic kits, were also on better paper, although some pages appeared in black and white because the color separations could not be completed by showtime. In 1967, the new Aurora catalog was printed in a horizontal format, stapled on the short end. I remember in the military we had little maintenance booklets that were like that were horizontal, stapled on the end, and had their own cartoon characters to make the soldier, usually some good-looking girl, to make the soldiers read it so they do their maintenance on their vehicles or whatever. Let's see, but this was quickly changed to the standard configuration because many salesmen and dealers complained that the sideways edition couldn't be put into the ring binders. Little things you never think of. Let's see, for one trade show, Aurora gave away specially produced tie clips that featured miniatures of some of the vehicles in Aurora's kit line. I wonder one of those tie clips, if you could find one today, would it be worth, probably wouldn't be worth a lot, but it'd still be a neat thing to have. I don't know when these gold-plated plastic clips were made, but I found a cartoon, I found a carton of them when I started working for Aurora in October 1965. That's pretty cool. Okay. Now the next thing he talks about is no-shows. Every kit company has planned new items that never reach production, and Aurora was no exception. But I'm hoping to do a video on Aurora models that weren't made. However, the number of no-shows, new items officially announced in catalogs, advertising, and elsewhere, but never made. So it was advertised, but never made. That's what we're calling a no-show. For Aurora was relatively small compared to other kit companies. Aurora was pretty well committed to the new projects by the time they locked themselves into print. So most of the kits that appear in the Aurora literature actually existed. The U.S. President series is the big exception. I think I remember seeing a model of Kennedy and thought that was an unusual thing to make. And it's the only one I seem to remember seeing, but it's just off the top of my head. Anyway. But Aurora canceled dozens of kit projects that had reached advanced stages of development before they could be announced to the world at large. Some projects, such as the Wheeler Cruiser, were put on hold for years before reaching production. Other dead projects were resurrected in other forms, and that leads us into reworks. I remember reading a little of this in the book, Monster Scenes, when he goes into more detail about some other stuff in the back. Now, I don't know if you guys remember who Ron Ely or Johnny Weissmuller was, but they're both guys that played Tarzan. Johnny Weissmuller did it in the old black and whites, and Ron Ely did it later, I guess, in the 60s. And I remember seeing Johnny Weissmuller on TV, but going and seeing Ron Ely in the theater. And I think Ron Ely, so I call it's the only real serious acting gig he ever had. But anyway, enough of that. So, long before the TV series, oh wait a minute, Ron Ely had this TV series. Didn't he also do movies? Oh, now I'm going to have to go look that up. Long before the TV series starring Ron Ely revived, wait a minute. Now, I just told you, I remember seeing Johnny Weissmuller on TV because that was the black and whites and they were in reruns. And I could swear I saw Ron Ely at the theater. But then I forgot there was a Tarzan TV show. Okay, it could be old man brain fogging up here. So just disregard all that mumbo jumbo I just said and let's just get back on track here. Long before the TV series starring Ron Ely revived Tarzan as a household word, Aurora planned a kit of the Vine Swinger. The pattern for the kit, depicting Tarzan in battle with a lion while Cheetah watched from the sidelines, was completed. But negotiations with the Edgar Rice Burroughs estate broke down, and the kit was scrapped. And for those who don't know, Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote the Tarzan series, as long as a bunch of other of that kind of, I think he did, was it Land That Time Forgot, a whole bunch of other stuff like that. Okay, so the pattern, however, did not go to waste. With a new head and the elimination of the chimp, Tarzan became Hercules and part of Aurora's series of famous warriors. Later, when the Tarzan TV series started, Aurora and ERB Incorporated reached an agreement and a brand new kit and a set of figures were produced. The prehistoric scenes cave bear was also a reworked pattern, starting life as a grizzly bear intended as an addition to the wildlife series. In its original form, the bear was fixed into one pose and it was intended to be a glue-together kit. The pattern was modified for snap-together assembly and the limbs were made to move as these standard features of the prehistoric scene series. So there you get another reworked kit. Then intended for release with the grizzly bear was a bull elk. We tried to find a new use for the beautiful elk pattern, but it was to no avail. That's too bad. The miniature Model A Ford found in the Racing Scenes garage kit came from a canceled set of HO scale cars that traced the development of the automobile. So there's just a couple of cool things about, you know, from the Aurora stories. And there's more to go, but I'll parse it out some so I can spread them out over the next month or so. And if you guys like these little Aurora stories, a whole bunch more, all kinds of cool stuff in there. Some of it I've already talked about, like with the Cherokee why I had photos on the boxes instead of artwork and that stuff. So if you guys are interested in that, if you like hearing these Aurora stories, I'll just make that a little segment of the coffees or the afternoons or whatever until we run out, because I only got out 5 of them. But because I'll have to get them all done in the next few weeks, because I'm going to have to go back to work here soon. Moped moment, Max and flight. And well, assuming I can get about 3 different doctors this time, I'll have to go back to work. Well, one of them already has. But anywho, I might get a little model work done today, but going to be doing a lot of video editing. So I want to get the viewer build out this weekend. I want to get Nito finished up so I can get it out tonight or tomorrow, or and then Nichimo, and then start getting my notes together for a couple more, because I'm starting to get a little delinquent on the company histories, because I've been doing so many other things. I'm starting to get a little saturated there. I did watch those other 2 movies yesterday, and I was right. The movie I Bombed Pearl Harbor, I thought that was the movie Storm Over the Pacific. One of you guys told me it was just relabeled. So it is the movie I thought it was. So hadn't lost my mind, and it was my favorite of the 4. Anyway, that's pretty much about all I got for this morning. And we have been having a lot of rain down here in Florida, which, believe it or not, slows up how much I go out to the shed to Tarvis to get my work done, because amazing how wet you can get walking 15, 20 feet in the rain, walking in the rain. But kind of developing a religious procedure, making sure every night before I go back, I'm doing this quality control check. Okay, I got the chip from the camera in my pocket, I got my cell phone, and I got every single bottle of glue, every single bottle of paint. Everything's locked up, everything's sitting, hardening where it's supposed to. Like this post-flight check to make sure everything's done before you step out, because nothing is worse than getting everything locked up, the shed shut down for the night. And then you get a, where's my phone? Where's my phone? Where's my shoes? Well, at least I'm not to the point where I'm asking where my pants are yet. Coffee. Well, guys, that's about it for this morning. You have a wonderful day. And hey, guys, something I forgot. I'm out here doing my physical therapy, my walk, which clears your mind. And I remembered something I forgot to ask you. Do a little crowdsourcing here. I'm also working on Nichimo, the plastic models company history, and there's still a Nichimoku plastics company in Japan, and I'm trying to figure out if that's the same company, if Nichimoku simply got out of kit models and went on to do other things, or if they're separate companies. So I thought I'd do a little crowdsourcing. So if any of you guys know anything about that, or know anybody who does, put it in the comments section below, or send me an email. Appreciate it. You guys have a great day, and try to get my walk done before we have more rain here. It's actually sprinkling just a little bit down here in beautiful Jacksonville. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. In case you were wondering, I did not make it back to the house before it started raining. But I'm walking into the garage now, so there we go. Whee! This is where I keep my radio-controlled tanks and airplanes. And of course I have a green screen set up that I haven't used in a long time. In fact, the last video I did using the green screen was the Halcyon video.
All right, guys. See you later.
You have a wonderful day, and tune in tomorrow for another Aurora story. And hopefully I'll see you guys tonight after hours. Thanks for watching. Herr Messerschmidt has said his piece, and this issue is settled. This video is feline approved.